Hello, my name is Katie Mosley and I am a Technical Assistance Specialist with the IEP Technical Assistance Center.
And my name is Alana Harveth, and I'm also a Technical Assistance Specialist with the IEP Technical Assistance Center. Welcome to this 6-part series on the co-teaching models. The purpose of this video is to define the different models and provide implementation considerations.
The most popular or frequently used models of co-teaching include one teach, one assist, one teach, one observe, parallel teaching, team teaching, station teaching, one teach, one make multisensory, alternative teaching. Teachers are encouraged to use a variety of the models and select those that best meet the needs of their students. Here are some frequently asked questions by co-teachers when considering model selection and usage. Should we use a different model every day? Can we use multiple models in one lesson? Is there a model that works best? These concerns are valid and without proper guidance can lead to frustration by the co-teaching team. Therefore, teachers may be encouraged to focus on one or two models at a time. For example, as teachers become more acquainted with each other's teaching styles and content, the natural progression may be for the team to engage in one teach, one assist. During this time, the team should also look for opportunities where both teachers are in the lead role. As the partnership continually develops, teams can begin adding components of the different models to their practices.
After the introductory phase of implementation, next steps could be to designate one day out of the week where station or parallel teaching will occur, and build from there. We recognize that some of the models require slightly more planning than others. This is why we emphasize to start slowly to go fast. Co-teaching isn't a race, but rather a marathon, with all of our focus on growth and success of students and co-teaching partners. Naturally, we want to pick all of the pieces and get started right away, but effective co-teaching takes time to cultivate and sustain. Once the co-teachers have a solid foundation with model implementation and have grown accustomed to their partners' teaching methods in order to provide the richest learning experience for their learners, the team may decide to begin implementing multiple models in one lesson. For example, teachers may choose to use one teach, one assist, or one make multisensory during the phase of the lesson where the teacher is modeling the skill being taught. Next, the teachers will use station teaching as students work through lesson activities or the guided practice portion of the lesson. Another example could be, perhaps, the teachers have noticed that students are understanding and learning best when the modeling of the task occurs in smaller groups. The team may then decide to split the group in half and implement parallel teaching during this phase of the lesson, then come together as whole and use team teaching to move through the next segments of the lesson. In essence, successful implementation of any of the co-teaching models lies in the teacher's comfort level, willingness to collaborate, and understanding that there will be some trial and error. Far too often, many co-teaching teams become complacent with using the likes of a model that requires less consideration, such as one teacher teaches and one assists, or feel as if there is not enough time to plan for other models that are aligned with the content and teacher comfort. These circumstances can easily lead to a road of frustration, as both teachers may end up not being viewed as equals by the students or staff. Co-teaching teams should continually cultivate a culture of shared ownership, responsibility, and action to best meet the needs of their diverse learners.
The one teach, one assist model is one of the more common co-teaching models being used today. This model occurs when one teacher takes the lead role in instructing the entire class, while the other teacher manages behaviors, answers questions, and offers individualized support to students. The benefit of using this model is that all learners have a professional educator to support their learning during core instruction. This model is great to use when student work may need to be monitored more closely, or when explicit communication and support might be needed. When using this model, it is vital to articulate each teacher's role in the instruction process to ensure that both teachers feel equally included. If this model is the only one that you find yourselves using, it may be time to reevaluate the need for two professionals in the room. While this model is typically the default for co-teaching, it is important to branch out and try different models to ensure student growth and success, as well as the validity of the co-teaching partnership. Some examples of this model might include one teacher conducting core instruction, while the other teacher provides feedback, answers questions, redirects student behaviors, ensures that students are on task, and clarifies when directions are needed. Similar to one teach, one assist, one teach, one observe allows one teacher to take the role of managing the instruction of the entire group. The second teacher, however, takes the role of the observer to gather data and observations that the partnership can utilize to inform instruction. This model is great to use when one teacher needs to gather data on a particular student for academic, behavior, or social purposes. This model could also be used to encourage each teacher in the co-teaching partnership to take a step back and observe how students are interacting with one another, the content, and the other teacher. Any data collected during these times can be extremely informative for co-teachers to use for future planning, instructing, and assessing. When using this model, one teacher will lead core instruction while the other teacher is observing students and may collect data on progress monitoring, student engagement, behavior, student groupings, and instructional pacing.
Having the ability to group students into smaller, more manageable sizes is one of the many benefits of co-teaching. In parallel teaching, staff split the class into two equally sized groups, using a mixture of heterogeneous and homogeneous groupings. In using this model, both teachers need to have confidence and comfort in delivering the content. During the planning phase, teachers should look to strategically and flexibly group students to ensure that they are academically addressing all access points during instruction. Benefits of using this model include reduction in teacher-to-student ratio, increased opportunities for students to respond, increased opportunities for checks, for understanding, and academic feedback. This model has typically been executed where both teachers are teaching the same content simultaneously in the same way to both groups of students. However, other examples of this model in action could be A. Teachers choose to teach the same content in different ways. B. Teachers choose to teach different content and then flip-flop groups. Examples of parallel teaching may include, but are not restricted to, both teachers lead a discussion on the same topic or concept. One teacher teaches students a math lesson using manipulatives, while the other teacher uses an anchor chart or technology. One teacher is leading the students through a lesson, while the other teacher creates a product with the students.
Team teaching occurs when two teachers are engaged in the instruction of all students at the same time. This model may feel challenging at first, but is a vital model for students and administrators to see in action. Team teaching demonstrates the partner's ability to work together to get the job done. In order to find success using this model, it is important to plan multiple access points to the content, flexible grouping, and how to intentionally incorporate different perspectives. Although this is a model that should be used regularly in the classroom, it is not the primary model that you are using day in and day out. With that being said, Team teaching is a great way to drive home the idea that both teachers in the classroom are seen as equal. Co-teaching partners could use team teaching to introduce or conclude a unit, facilitate a class meeting, or engage in a community building exercise.
During station teaching, co-teaching partners divide the instructional content into multiple segments and set up station in the classroom. Students then rotate through these stations, spending a designated amount of time completing a task or an assignment. Station teaching is a favorite among co-teachers as it provides many learning opportunities and structures for students, while also allowing the team of teachers an opportunity to effectively use their skills and content expertise. Station teaching provides teachers an opportunity to purposefully and flexibly select the student learning groups, differentiate their and tier learning, while also allowing for student movement and peer interaction. Station teaching allows for teachers to work with smaller groups of students, which then leads to more student engagement and opportunities to check for understanding. Co-teaching station applications may involve there being 2 teacher-led stations and other independent stations. Sometimes teaching partners will also include just 1 teacher-led station, while the other teacher floats between the other independent or collaborative stations, facilitating instruction, giving directions, clarifying student concerns or questions, checking for understanding, or giving academic feedback. Based on the lesson's learning objectives, a station may include opportunities for students to practice a skill, engage in a discussion, problem solve, review new or existing material or content, collaborate with a partner or small group, or create a project completion technology-based task. Some teachers may shy away from experimenting with station teaching due to classroom space, student voice volume and pacing, and concerns on the amount of planning time and resources that it may need to be effectively implemented. However, given the amount of benefits and opportunities for students to engage in such a rich learning experience, teachers are encouraged to begin planning for a station lesson once per week or every other week.
One Teach, One Make Multisensory is one of the newer and more flexible models to be added to the original 6. There are many ways to incorporate this model into your regular co-teaching practices, making this one of the most versatile of the models. This model happens when 2 teachers are engaged in core instruction at the same time, but one teacher is instructing while the other is adding some sort of output. This particular model makes creating inclusive environments a little easier as it opens up natural opportunities to provide differentiated instruction to all learners. This is a great opportunity to add theatrics, humor, music, and visuals to your lessons to spice things up and offer multiple access points to content to reach a wider audience of students. Let's take a look at examples of One Teach, One Make Multisensory. Teacher 1 is reading a chapter out of a novel, while Teacher 2 is illustrating the chapter to offer different ways for students to access the content. Teacher 1 is teaching a math lesson, walking students through each step, while Teacher 2 is showing how to work the problem on the board or using manipulatives. Teacher 1 conducts a mini lesson, while Teacher 2 demonstrates how to take notes on a whiteboard, chart paper, or a projector. As you begin to plan for using this model, be sure to take time to designate roles and responsibilities so that there is a clear understanding of what part each teacher will play. Once you do this, just have fun and let the creativity flow.
In an inclusive classroom, lessons are developed with the intent to meet the needs and provide support to all learners. The alternative teaching model recognizes that while the majority of the students might be able to learn along with one another, a small group may need a more specific focus led by another teacher. In alternative teaching, one teacher will teach the large group or the majority of the students, while the other teacher teaches a small group of students using a more specific instruction. The teacher leading the small group instruction may be delivering content that pre-teaches, reteaches, or enriches. As with all of the other models mentioned, alternative teaching has special considerations that teachers will want to discuss prior to implementation. Teachers should ensure that student groupings are flexible with a mixture of students rotating through the small group instruction. Both teachers should also take turns working with the small group. That way, all students meet with both teachers. A twist on this model could be to have one teacher supervise the large group of students as they work on a task, while the other teacher checks in with multiple small groups to discuss academic progress or address student concerns or questions. While the small group instruction is a much needed opportunity to provide intensive instruction, it is vital that the teachers strategically plan for both groups. The teaching team should be careful not to provide new content to the large group, as this may lead to some students falling behind during this type of instruction.
By definition, specially designed instruction is adapting content, methods, and/or instructional delivery to address the unique needs of a student. As we plan for and deliver specially designed instruction, we're looking to close the academic performance gap and address barriers to learning. Essentially, specially designed instruction is the special in special education. As you plan for meeting the diverse needs of your learners and consider what co-teaching models to use, be sure that you are familiar with the specially designed instruction required for your students with disabilities and make an intentional plan on how to incorporate SDI within your lessons. If your co-teaching partner is a special education teacher, there is a lot of value in planning for specially designed instruction together so that both teachers can decide together what the adapted content, methods, or instructional delivery will look like for each of the unique needs of their students with disabilities. This instruction doesn't have to be provided directly from a special education teacher. However, it is important to collaborate with each student's teacher of record until you are comfortable with providing appropriate specially designed instruction for the students with disabilities within your classroom.
Now that you have been introduced to these 7 co-teaching models, our challenge to you is to work as a team and determine how to best incorporate these models within your teaching practice. If you have questions about this information or any other topic, connect with us on the IEP Technical Assistance Center's website, iepta.org.